Okay, this is my final project video. I'm gonna go ahead and run it first, and then I'll go through some parts of the code afterwards. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this a little larger. So this is basically kind of like an escape room. So you have to find 3 chests in order to escape, and then the spider that you just went by is considered one of the enemies. There's 2. There's one that goes down this long hallway that goes off to my right, and then there's another in another room. So you can use the mouse to look around, and then WASD to move, which is described up here in the GUI with the game instructions. So the player has some physics, and all these boxes laying around have physics, so you can run into them and they'll move and they'll hit the walls and then we'll go through the walls. But this is what one of the chests look like. And then if you walk up to it, a sound will play to kind of let you know that you got a key. And you can go and you can go find the other ones. So but yeah, here's one spider, and I guess we go see the other one. Yeah, so there's just a bunch of rooms, and there's the other spider. Go back over this way. I believe there's another key over here. So yeah, there's another key. Look forward, there we go. Okay, and then there's a third key. And if you get all 3 keys, it'll reset you back to where you started, and it'll tell you that you won and that you can play again. And then I can go ahead and run into one of the spiders and get like the game over condition. See, there it goes. So yeah, and then it puts you back to the start, and you can press the R key to play again. One of the issues I had was I didn't know how to correct for this, but when you restart and your camera's kind of a wonky angle, it kind of tilts your point of view a little bit. So that was one of the bugs that I guess I kind of had that I forgot about and didn't have time to address completely. If I go ahead and press R, then I can move again. You can't move until you press R. And then the other thing is you can go through these walls as the player, and we can open the physics debugger that I got so I could see all this stuff. You can see that there are walls, there's a roof, these boxes are things, and then you can see that the player is also an object. So I was having a lot of issues figuring out how to get the collision detection to work, and it ended up being, I think, a little more complicated than I originally thought it was going to be. So I can go ahead and close this game. We can look back at the code. So so with Dr. Morning's help, I did find this like callback that I could inherit from and put in some code of my own that it would do, and I did that, and I made this collisions class object, but I didn't know how to include that into my final project for it to then be called, and I kept reading a little more, and it turns out you might need like a filter shader to determine which objects in your world have collision detection on. So like if the player like collides with the wall, then call the function, I think. And I just kind of ran out of time to do that. But those are the two big I would say bugs with the program right now. Other than that, let's see. So in Update World, I set up some sound stuff, especially with the listener, because there's 3D sound, and the spiders, just so that their sound position is updated since they're moving. This is also where I checked for the winning and losing conditions. So there's 3 bools for each key, and if they're all true, then you win, and then if you run into a spider, you get the game over condition, which game over condition will reset all of your key bools, so you have to start completely over. Let's see, what else? And then all of the movements are in key if statements, so W, A, S, and D, and then the R key and the escape key. Escape key allows you to close the game, and then the R is how you like unlock your character when you get like a win or lose condition before you can start moving and playing again, kind of like a replay situation. Yeah, and then load map, you got the background engine set up. I put a different image on the grass plane to get the floor to look the way it does, and then the walls are the model is a red shiny cube. I just put different images, skins on them, so they look like walls, and I scaled them to do that. And then the spiders, there's 2 of them, so that's why there's all that. And then for all the boxes, I did the same thing I did with the walls. I just made a loop through a vector of positions to place them. And then the 3 chests. And then this would be the player, which is just a red, shiny red plastic cube, because I was going to use that so that there would be physics to the player, so when they move and they ran into things, things would move, and if I could get the collision detection to work, then that would have kept the player from going through walls, I hoped. I think that's about it for this, and then yeah, I ended an end game function and an enemy move function, 2 enemy move functions, 1 for each spider because they have different move patterns. And I have the GUI for the kind of instructions, and I have create a physics class for a dynamic object because the boxes are dynamic. Just this WPhysX is static objects, that's the walls and the floor and the ceiling, and the chests are static too. I think technically the spiders are also static. And then the player is a kinematic object because that's what you needed to do collision detection. So I got the player as a kinematic object to work. That required a few tweaks to, like, I couldn't just copy and paste the dynamic object class. The kinematic actors used something else to move. They used set kinematic target. So I kind of had to change that and then work around what other things I could and could not use with kinematic actors. But yeah, that's about it. That's my project. I'm not going to show where the last box, the last chest is to see that, so if you want to go find that, have fun with that. But yeah, that's my project.